Hello and welcome back to South Coast Busways, where today we are back with Southern Vectis in Newport on the Isle of Wight, where we have a good number of buses, and the I've got the school DLC, so let's jump right into it. First of all, update. My cat's trying to climb on the desk. I love her, but she cannot do that. At least not when I'm recording. Anyway, yes, we have a lot smoother. It's using 6.6 gigs at the moment of RAM, where this would need literally everything I could give it in terms of like closing out background programs and stuff. So this is doing really well. For now, we'll see how it goes. But yes, we have a bunch of schools that we can serve with our buses. So if I bring up the school window, the biggest array here is Mayville High School, and a few nearby things, where apparently people want to get there from Gosport. That's not happening. But then there's a lot of people around Stamshaw and Hilsea. Then there's St Edward's in Poole, where everyone is clustered, and this is a bug that happens on this island, which I don't think is a thing in terms of people living there, and down here. So yeah, it's a bit of a bug with this DLC. It is known, so hopefully that'll get fixed within, in relatively short order. Then we have down here Gurnard Primary School and Solent County Middle School. Now, I'm not so keen on the idea that a primary school should have a school bus. Ideally, you don't live that far away from a primary school. But a middle school, I could be swayed. So that's one we'll keep in mind. And I do want to do this stuff. I want to do stuff on the island. Gatcombe is not on the Isle of Wight. I believe the next one on the Isle of Wight is actually back here on page 5. No, it's not. Because there's one in Ryde. Yes, Ryde Academy. Which has students in Wootton, Nettleston, St Helens, and of course, in Ryde itself. And there's a couple in Brading as well, which is very nice. Then there is Sandown Bay Academy, which has students in St Helens, Bembridge, Brading, Shanklin, and Wroxall. And I think this is where I will start. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out here, and I'm going to look at what comes through Wroxall. It is the 4 to Ventnor and the 9 to Ryde via Shanklin. So, school buses on the Isle of Wight. Where normally I go for the 600s, on the Isle of Wight, I'm going to go for the 80s, because I don't know if we have a Route 8 on the Isle of Wight. So, the 89 is going to run from Wroxall to Sandown Bay Academy. There we are. So this is going to be the 89. And we'll of course have to see how many people this is going to use. How many people it's going to use, how many people are going to want to use it. My cat is being very cute. Good, I did put the green on my clipboard, very nice. So yes, this is going to be the 89. If I could type, that would be nice. Wroxall to Sandown Bay basically just cut out all of the ACDY, there we go. That should be enough for me to know. So we can't get this guy by starting at a Wroxall church. But also that's on that side of the road, so I'm going to start it at Wroxall the Star. And we're going to come up. And we're just going to stop at all stops. Maybe not there. But we'll stop it at Whitley Bank. And we'll come down. Stop at Cliff Bridge. Windsor Drive, West Hill Road, Tile House. Shanklin Library. Up to Clarendon Road. Shanklin Station. Then where are we going? I think we're going up this way and down. So I'm going to put a stop at Langgarden Manor. Then there. Then at Merry Gardens. Broadley Primary, Newport Road Bottom. Then where are we going? We are ending up there, so we should be turning there and heading up. There we go. Sandown. Small caps. The Bay Academy. Small caps. Size equals 100%. There we go. So that's the way in. It takes 24 minutes, which is not bad for a school run. And we'll stop there. Then we'll come back home. Not quite like that. But to get home is basically put stops on the other side of the road and hope that it doesn't break anything. Shanklin Library, West Hill Road, Cliff Bridge, Upper High Lane, Apps Manor Road, across to Whitley Bank, then down into Wroxall, and we're terminating at the Star. So I'll put a stop there. I'll get rid of that stop at the church because that's wrong. Wroxall Church. And this is going to be Wroxall. Small caps. The Star. There we go. That is the 89. From Wroxall to Sandown Bay Academy. So, we have two schools here. So let's try and set both of them. Both schools start at 8:55, so I'm going to have two arrivals. Wait, hang on. First I need to go into advanced settings and make sure that this service will actually run on time. So I'm going to put a time point at Whitley Bank. Then another one at Shanklin Station. And then another one at the health centre. Then coming back. I'm going to put one at Leg Shops, Shanklin Library, and Whiteley Bank. Then I'm going to go back to easy mode, and I'm going to have arrivals at 08:45, departures at 16:05 and 16:10, and another arrival at 8:50. There we go. Let's confirm that. We're running it out of Southern Vectis. Let's activate that now, because that should run. Because it's 7:52. Ooh, am I gonna have to wait for the homebound runs? Or, ooh, that's tense. Well, the next one I'm going to do, also based on the Bay Academy, is I'm going to have a run from St. Helens through Brading, which is going to be what comes through St. Helens. That is the 36 and the 9. So this is, I think, going to be the 86, and then the 87 is going to come through Bembridge. So, let's start a school bus route. And it's on page 5. There we go. Vauxhall to Sandown Bay Academy. New route. Well, it's actually going to be St. Helens to Sandown Bay Academy, but, you know. As for what we're going to be using on this route, probably Deckers. Probably Deckers. This is going to be the 86. St. Helens to Sandown Bay ACD White. And we will start it at Guildford Road, and we will run this way. We will stop there and there. Maybe this is a sign that I need to have more rural services on the island. We'll stop at Brading Church, Brading Bullring, this one, this one, this one, and we want to go there. So we will go this way. Then we want to come up to... Yeah, no, we won't do that. It's best to go over the top. So I'll put a stop there, and then we'll follow this way, all the way down to Sandown, the Bay Academy, and then, ooh, and then we'll head up, back the way we came. Yeah. And destination here is going to be St. Helens, small caps, St. Catherine by the Green. There we go. And that is the 86. So next is the third and final route for the Bay Academy at Sandown, and that is going to be the 87 from Bembridge. But first, I need to add services, advanced settings. We need to make sure that this actually works. So I'll put braiding bull rings. That's 9 minutes. Why is that put there at Sandown Station? Oh dear. Well, this one hasn't worked quite so well. It'll be fine. I wasn't expecting that we wouldn't be able to serve Sandown Station. Oops. But then, on the way back, we will put a stop at Braiding Bullring, and we'll be happy with life. So, we'll head back to easy mode. We'll put arrivals at 8:46 and 8:51, just to stagger things a little bit. And we'll have departure times at 16:06 and 16:11. Good. Now, the 87 to Bembridge. Oh, nope. Okay, what's happened? This is running... touch wood, this is running obscenely well. I mean, consider how far into this save we are. You know, 200 and... this is route 212. So... we're doing very, very well. We need a new route. It's going to be an own bus route. It's going to be a school bus route. Funny that. And we're going to be going to Sandown Bay Academy from Bembridge. Where in Bembridge? I don't know. Where in Bembridge? I'll just go to the town centre and call it a day. So this is going to be the 87. Because it will largely follow the 37. Funny that. So, 87. Bembridge. No. Bembridge to Sandown Bay Ac. Oh, that fits. Nice. So we will start it. Oh, Ducey Avenue. That's funny. It's a funny sounding name. And are we actually going to send it round the back? I think we are. Because, I mean, this is where the people are. So we'll have it come up. We'll stop there. We'll stop there. Then we'll stop at Steen Park and pick up the 37. Steen Cross, Petrie Corner, Kingswood Centre, Whitecliff Bay, Dark Pond, Bembridge Airport. Don't know why we'd have a school bus to an airport, but we do. In fact, you know what? Let's get rid of a few stops. We don't need that one. We don't need that one. We don't really need that one either. So then we'll just go fast, because it will save time. And then we'll go all stops through Yeverland. And then entering Sandown. I will go up through the town like that. And again will be all stops. I think we don't do that. I think we do that. we get rid of that one, because that one's stupid. And we go Beachfield Road, The Heights, Health Centre, Roseway, Sandown, the Bay Academy, Roseway, Lake Fairway, The Heights, Melville Street, Fitzroy Street, Pierce Street, Sandown High Street, Avenue Slipway, Front Street, or Fort Street, Isle of Wight Zoo, I guess. Don't really need to stop there, but again, it's nice. Yavelin Church. Then we will go straight up to Whitecliff Bay, Kingswood Centre. It is really weird that there are students at holiday parks, but I guess the game can't differentiate between what is a house where someone, where a student might live, and what is not that. But we are going to then terminate it at Bembridge Church. And that is the 87 from Bembridge to Sandown Bay Academy. Much the same dealio, but we're going to be having we're going to be having timings, and we're going to be having buses going to do things. Funnily enough. So, advanced settings. We want a time point at Yavelin Church, a timing point at Sandown High Street, and I'll put one at the health centre just to keep things ticking over. And then I'll have a timing point at Sandown High Street, a timing point at Yavelin Church, and a timing point just near the end. In fact, no, literally the very end. There we go. Easy mode. So we had 51, so this is actually going to be 49. And then this one is going to be 16, 12, and it's going to be for both schools because there's not many. Confirm that, and we'll activate that now. So yes, all of this is prompting me to think that I do need to improve the rural connectivity on the island, which is absolutely fine, something that I'm more than happy to do, because I think St Helens linking into Brading Station would be good. And I want to serve Alveston, but it's not got a complete loop, which makes it very frustrating. Oh no, I see. There are actually bus stops in Alveston Garden Village. You just use the main road through it. That makes total sense. Yeah, I should have thought about that. I really should have. Anyway. We aren't done, despite having done 3 routes. I want to look at Ryde Academy, and we'll potentially do one there. But for the next 3, I will just sort of go, here's a route I made, here's a route I made, and here's a route I made. Because, they're just little school buses. But I'm thinking we have one to St Helens that goes around the top. We have one to Wootton. And then we have one that just does local in Ryde. Oh, we could do Fishbourne. We could do Fishbourne, but you can't really turn a bus around there. Okay, we're doing Wootton then. Right. So this is the 3, so this is going to be the 83. That was easy. Right. 83, Wootton to Ryde Academy. And we will have it start at Lushington Garage. There we go. And we'll run it up this way. We'll stop it there. Then we'll have it stop there, there, and then bring it down, and etc. I'll bring you back when we have a bus route to look at. And this one's quite simple because there aren't many people using this route, so we just want one bus there and back, and that'll be fine. We can activate that now. That is the 83 from Wootton to Ryde Academy. And before I forget, I'm actually going to set this to Ryde Academy. Here we go. So, what do we have next? We have St. Helens. But I'm going to check and use the numbers for actually, you know what? I'm going to use the wildcard number, which is 88, for St. Helens. So yeah, because we've only got 10 numbers, there will be a lot of duplicates in the Isle of Wight school network, if we end up having more than 10. So, yes. Where is it? There it is. Page 3. Good to know. Yes, St. Helens, and we will terminate it at St. Helens Latimer Road or Bembridge Marina. Actually, I like Bembridge Marina. So this is going to be the 88 to Bembridge Marina, or from Bembridge Marina to Ryde Academy. And I will bring you back when that's done. And the timetable is now in place for the 80... I forgot what one this was already, the 88 from St. Helens to Ryde Academy. The run takes about half an hour, and I've split it between two buses, because if we take the upper estimate of 30 for Ryde Academy and 50 for this place called Lift Ryde, then that's 80 people, which is a pretty tight squeeze even on a decker. So, split it between two buses, you might even be able to use singles. That'll be activated now out of SV. And the final route is going to be... I don't know what the number is. This has gone swimmingly. This is going to be... Okay, so it can either be the 83, well it can't be the 83, the 81, or the 84. I like the idea that this is going to be the 84. And it's going to run from Westridge Cross. Whoa, game, come on. Yes, we're going to have the 84 Westridge Cross to Ryde Academy doing the sort of local pickup within Ryde. Because what the 88 does is it actually goes non-stop to the edge of Ryde. So the 84 will handle the local pickup. The 84 could even be a run out of SVR. Because SVR is where we have the... not the Ryde Mellors, but the 8.3 meter MMCs that do ride work. And they're based at SVR still. I need to move those. But I never got round to it, and then I started really piling my attention onto the mainland. So... you know, I guess I can only blame myself, really. But oh well. And there is the 84 from Westridge Cross to Ryde Academy, which does some funny stuff in Ryde, and I've found out about this nonsense. This is confused. Basically, coming towards Ryde Academy, you can come in to Cross Street, into the High Street like that, then you come down around the back and then through John Street. Then to go the other way, you come up through this stop at Parish Church, then you go further up but you can't cross straight across this intersection. You have to go down the high street again. So the outbound and inbound buses would go the same way down the high street here. Then you have to go around the back and back up before resuming a reasonable line of route. Which, yeah, certainly one of the ways of doing it. But that is the 84. And I'll bring you back when the timetable's done. So, again, very simple. We have one bus because at its peak, we have inbound 55 people, and outbound we have 45. So we can do that fairly easily. And we'll activate that now. So there are our first 6 school buses. 3 in Sandown and 3 in Ryde. St Helens gets 2, very lucky. And let's check the shift schedule for SV, and no, we don't get to do any mornings. But what I will do is just quickly go and check on my school routes and see which ones are expecting to be busy and which ones are less so. So let's first do Ryde, because that's on page 3. So it shows up first. We have the 83, 84 and 88. So let's edit timetable. Yeah, that's expecting up to that, so I will go for the EL type. That should be enough capacity. Then let's go to the 80... Which one did I just do? You know what? I'll bring you back when all these are done as well, because this is just fiddling. So, everything is now ready to go. And so yeah, the 88 uses the 10.8 meter Enviro MMCs, which are the EL type. The 89 uses the C2K Sataras, the MCS type. The 86 and 87 use 10.3 meter Enviro 400 MMCs. The 83 uses 10.8 meter E200 MMCs, as does the 84. And we're short ELs. I knew we were short ELs. But you know we're not short? These. Because ultimately, if we're short, we can just chuck the old TEs on. But there we go. I'm going to whiz the game along until there's something worth looking at, i.e. a school bus somewhere. I will probably do the 89, seeing it was the first one we did, and it gets little Sataras, which are lovely little machines. Okay, while the game's playing along, I just thought I would bring you up to the Portchester network, because things are getting a bit hectic here. Well, they're not really getting hectic. Some routes, some diagrams have had a capacity uplift because the metro cities for the Portchester network have gone on their recall. So, yeah, we have a bunch of random spare buses from the Standard Way garage helping out with that whole mess, which is very nice. We have a bunch of Eclipse 3s, we have all 3 of our East Lancs bodied Scanias that I still haven't withdrawn. that we've had since basically the very start of the series, actually. And we've got some 9.7 meter MMCs out and about, I believe. We certainly did. So maybe they've all gone home. Because this is the entire network that we're looking at here. The Portchester really is not a big network. It's quite dense though, it's got 5 routes. So I'm just gonna speed things along once again. Probably 2 times should be enough to just watch the Portchester network run around. And then... actually no, I'll stick it on 3 times and then I'll speed it up in post. And we'll get a little time lapse while we wait for school buses. I like that idea. Let's go for that. Right, so it is now time for a school run. This is not a good showing, seeing as it is due and there's no bus here yet. This is a far from stellar showing. They are assigned, right? Yeah. Are they at least on their way? Yes. No, that's doing a 10. What? Where are my school buses? Because we have a lot of people waiting. I love this game. That's what I tell myself when I don't. That's a 15. That's not. We have a climate action day. That's doing a 49. That's doing a 15. That's that. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. This is not good. What about Ryde Academy? Have they been served? The 1600 hasn't gone. None of their services have gone yet. What's happening? Why are none of my school buses running? That's a 23. Well, it's 3/4 of an hour late. What's happening down at Sandown? Aha! You're an 89. You're running 46 minutes late. That is not acceptable. But oh well. Do we have any option but to accept it? I don't think we do. So yes, we are very busy. It's very good. I don't like that it's running late. That's not very good. But as we come out of Shanklin, we are offloading passengers, as you would expect, and we're carrying still a decent number into Wroxall, which is nice. That's not bad at all, other than the fact that it was running stupidly late. What do you have? We have an 87 that is 59 minutes late. Where is the 86? That's a 36, that's a 36. That's a 9. That's also a 9. This is an 87. So if we follow the 87 along... this one's an hour late, which is not good at all. Hopefully things will be better for day 2. Things must be better for day 2, come on. Yeah. And then the 9 goes that way, the 87 goes this way. And we vibe. And then we terminate at Bembridge Church. They're very nicely done. That's a 9. Indeed it is. Anyway, that, I think, has been all I need to cover this week from the Isle of Wight. We have 6 new school buses, some of which even ran. But you know what, we're here. Let's get a depot shot. There you go. And on our reserve fleet, which hopefully did all the school buses that they were meant to do, I will see you next week from the south coast. Bye bye.